I'm gonna take the Celtics minus 8.5 versus the Sacramento Kings. I've got this projected well north of this. Even with the injuries, I'm not scared of this for the Boston Celtics. The numbers in particular with the uh injuries, sorry, the names of the injuries. Derek White is questionable, and Jaylen Brown is questionable. And those are obviously like really important players for the Boston Celtics because they're very good and they're starting five, but they do have a lot of redundancy and they've managed to win these games anyway. Full strength, I have this 14. So even if I take off, I don't know, a full 5 points on Derek White and Jaylen Brown, I'm still covering this number at pretty well. Sacramento, terrible spot. Terrible spot. They are 4-9 this season. ATS on the second night of a back-to-back. In particular, this is one of my favorite stats I always track every year. The worst teams, ATS, in terms of after you play these squads, your numbers are bad. So certain teams, for whatever reason, take it out of you. Guess who's really high on that list? The New York play 7 guys and try and kill you Knicks. When you are over 500 and you just played the Knicks, the next game, you are 15-26 this season at 37% against the spread. They beat the shit out of you, and that takes it out of you. Another would be Tito's Miami Heat. In particular, we do have some comments on this game in the comment section here on Buckets Live. Micah says Celtics Kings over 224.5 is an obvious model number, spot, and matchup bet. He says key number, ladder 230.5. Celtics, a league best 17-9 to the over with a rest advantage. That's a great trend there, Micah. That's really good stuff. If there are alternate team totals, Celtics plus 200 to score 125 as well. Like that spot. Kings defense a little bit better on the road, so that's a problem. Kings more motivated. I will say, though, that Boston probably is a little annoyed at the fact that they had that downswing when they were losing to the Hawks. They've just kind of kept a sea level here the last couple of games. I think this might be a spot where they absolutely smash. It's just kind of a warm-up session before the playoffs get started. So I will lay the Wood 8.5 with the Boston Celtics even shorthanded versus the Sacramento Kings. Watts, you got thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I'm definitely not touching the Kings here. That's for sure. Yeah. It's a terrible spot. I mean, I love that Knicks trend. I can't believe I'm wearing a Knicks hat and I didn't know about that trend. You said the caveat was if you're a 500 team, right? If you're above 500,
it's actually everybody. Like the numbers are, it's 50. If you face a team that is just played the Knicks, the overall number is 56%. It's 63% if you're over 500.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. No, I love this for the Celtics. In fact, I might even be okay if they miss one or two of their guys. Maybe not both out, but I think it's fine. Honestly, I would just wait until you know. That's been my mantra this whole season. Yeah. Wait until the injury report is out. I'd rather know what I'm getting into, but I think I'd be okay because the line is going to move. I don't think this is baked in as like these guys are definitely out line. I think this is a kind of halfway line for them being out or not. What do you guys think? I mean, in terms of that
if
for the
this
line.
is the halfway line, then they have way too much credit that they are giving the Sacramento Kings. Like they are not in the same universe as a team that has either one of the Celtics team that has either one of those guys. Like the only reason it's a hesitate at all for me is because they're missing basically 2 of the 3 guards, right? And
so you think this is like, like neither are playing?
Yeah, I think they don't think those guys are playing. That's my read.
Interesting.
But I also don't know how much. I also don't know how much those guys are going to move the number, right? Like combined Derek White and Jaylen Brown. I'm trying to think like 3.5, maybe 4. I would be surprised if it was any more than. I would be very surprised if this line topped out anything higher than 12. That's like the most I would get this. I would get this number to, and I have a 14, so I'm good here. Jim, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would be on the Boston side of this as well. I do think that I think I'm with you in that the line is baking this in that both guys are likely to be out. It's funny. It's one of those guys, Derek White and Jaylen Brown. Derek White being a guy who I think is probably underrated in terms of a number that would move off him, and Jaylen Brown probably a guy that's a little overrated in terms of what the market would adjust. So that kind of evens out. And I think you're right. It's probably in the 3.5 to 5 point range. It's right. I would say it's, that's the low and the high of what something is going to move off of those two. Yeah, I would be on the Boston side of it, if anything, but I'm also not dying to bet this side either.